Welcome to Season 1 of The Chris Hanna Show, where we're going all in on how to improve your impact, your productivity, and performance. Today's podcast is brought to you by Evolving Management. Isn't it about time that companies and leaders rethink and evolve their approach to managing? Visit evolvingmanagement.com for featured content, blogs, manager toolkits, coaching solutions, and more. That's evolvingmanagement.com. One-on-ones are the most critical communication tool for leaders. I think that they are something that is often overlooked and underappreciated by some. Other leaders, and those who I would consider more the higher potential superstar leaders, maximize these meetings with their employees. They leverage them as best as possible to create an environment that maximizes the resources for all and creates a positive outcome that everyone can be part of achieving. So, welcome again to the Chris Hanna Show. Today's topic is one-on-ones and the importance of them. And so for those who are not familiar from a one-on-one perspective, what that concept is really all about, first let me explain it just to kind of level set. The idea is that leaders need to meet with each person on their team individually. The goal is to get to know someone better. Find out who they are, what excites them, what pushes their buttons. Just ultimately build some sort of rapport between the two. Now, this meeting is about the other person. It's not about the leader themselves, and that is something I think that a lot of people ultimately forget. The meetings are meant for an employee that works for you, and whether it's a struggling employee or even the rock star, one-on-ones are vital. Now, when newly promoted to being a leader of a team, it's important that those leaders understand that a great deal of time needs to be spent getting to know everybody. To position a new leader for success early on, it's crucial that they spend their time with everyone, sharing expectations while building trust and rapport. I would say this is a critical part of a new leader's first 90 days. Because holding one-on-ones is vital to get to know the team's strengths and weaknesses successfully. Now, I would say one-on-ones are not something that needs to be only exclusively used by new leaders. It should be used by experienced leaders as well. But what happens often, and I've been guilty of this so many times before, is you fall into kind of a predictable pattern with one-on-ones. It shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all approach, but oftentimes we do see that happen. It becomes so stale or formulaic that becomes almost just so repetitive and boring for folks that some will even dread attending their one-on-ones with their leaders because just the style doesn't change. They don't get the perceived value from them. The typical one-on-one format is one that really works for a leader and for their employees. It's good practice to have a one-on-one, maybe for half hour or an hour every other week. Now, it depends on the size of the team and the complexity of the business that someone's operating in. But I found that for the teams that I've led, that seems to be the right cadence for some folks. You want to ask people what they feel they need because it's ultimately their time. You might be able to get down to 30 minutes maybe every week or every other week for somebody because you know that there's going to be ad hoc things that pop up throughout the month. But figuring out what works best for everyone and within the organization is important. The critical part here is to make one-on-ones recurring. They can happen roughly the same time or the day for each person potentially as an option, so you could just always have that scheduled ahead in the calendar. But just have it so that people know that there's time that they're going to have that's dedicated just with their leader. It's difficult with all the meetings and stuff that folks have nowadays, but a leader should never cancel outright a one-on-one unless it's absolutely necessary to do. Try to reschedule if possible. And because the world works the way it does, leaders should probably try to avoid scheduling individual sessions on peak days. So maybe in some businesses it's Monday. Well, those are days that it needs to be all hands on deck with people doing what they need to do. So maybe there's no individual one-on-ones on those days. Fridays are also a day, though, where most people want to take off. So instead of scheduling a one-on-one on a Friday, when people are wanting to maybe leave the office early, then maybe look to have those on maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. When I think about underappreciating the importance of regularly meeting with team members. I see this happen with new leaders, but I also see it with veteran, leaders as well. But they're forgetting that these sessions have to be something that they prioritize. Like, you need to pepper in, some tactical, strategic conversations as part of them, in addition to building rapport and trust. There needs to be conversations about career development and coaching as a crucial part of every single one-on-one. Now, I'll follow an approach sometimes with some of my one-on-ones where I've instructed them to make sure they're coming prepared for them so they can have their list of topics that they would like to address, but I should also have something on my side as well that I'm ready to kind of go through. Everyone has a lot on their plate, but you have to discuss how somebody's doing during these one-on-ones. I often come across people who want to advance their career, but they don't know where to go. So if you don't provide a place for your team members to talk about these opportunities to grow or to become better at what they do, if you don't talk about the opportunities for growth, you're going to create a culture where people are more disengaged, or they hold back, or they're talking amongst themselves about how upset they might be. Talking things through in a one-on-one also, can help others understand what's going on within the business. I think every person needs to manage their own career. And by that, I mean, like, they are the ones chasing down, what their development plan looks like. What are they trying to tackle? What's their goals? It can't be on the leader to try and push somebody to try and develop, but they can be there to help. You could use one-on-ones to work together to find out what are some common interests. What are some of the different jobs that might be of interest for somebody? Or what do they want to do? What do they actually care about? Asking certain powerful questions, such as, what really drives them? What keeps them motivated? What keeps somebody there working for the organization? Leaders need to know those kind of things. Some of the powerful questions that I have are actually available on our social media channels, whether you're looking at Evolving Management and what we have available on our LinkedIn page or on the Instagram account, or even on Twitter. There's a lot of powerful questions that we have listed throughout, available for anybody to download and use as they see fit. So if you do want more information, either visit chrishanna.ca or evolvingmanagement.com, and we'll make sure to get those powerful questions out to you as well. But as I said earlier, that each one-on-one session needs to be different. The last thing anybody wants to be part of is a repetitive, boring meeting. It provides little value. I've had many one-on-ones with leaders that I've reported to over the years where eventually you just kind of hope that your one-on-one gets canceled because you don't want to go and do it. You don't have anything to talk about, or it's going to be the same old thing. With leaders trying to create a consistent approach for these sessions, it turns into one-size-fits-all, and I would argue that people shouldn't be doing this. Don't get stuck doing this. You're managing on autopilot, essentially. So it's important, again, to remember that you want to gain understanding of what your employee needs. Strive to discuss the following with your employees regularly. What's their impact? Are there process improvement suggestions that they have? How's the morale? What are they seeing within the team? Do they have some cost-saving suggestions? In today's world, we need more of that. What's going on from a customer perspective? And that could be internally or externally. Do they have any ideas to help generate more revenue for the business? And most importantly, are there areas to start, stop, or continue? So my final thoughts here on one-on-ones is that you do need to make them memorable. Remember, people like variety. Instead of always giving them the same old experience with just having a one-on-one in a boardroom, shake it up. Make it different. Maybe take someone out to lunch. Do a walk for a one-on-one. Or incorporate things like YouTube videos or activities or games to drive a point home. I also find that when possible, I try and use a whiteboard. That can be a crucial tool when trying to work through a coaching conversation with somebody. Whatever you do, you just gotta mix it up. Everyone is different. And that includes how they communicate and how they think. So what works for one might not work for another. The more that you get to know your team, the better the relationship you will have with them. When you have a fantastic relationship, they will work harder for not just you, because I don't think anybody necessarily works just for their leader. They work ultimately for themselves. But they will work better if they do have a better connection with you as a leader. The more that leaders communicate regularly and share what's going on and helping coach, the stronger the team will be. But the stronger the leader will also become. And that creates a more powerful team. Leverage one-on-ones and use them to the best of their ability, and you will maximize the impact and performance of everyone. You've been listening to The Chris Hanna Show. To have me speak at your next event, or for additional solutions to help you achieve more than you thought possible, visit chrishanna.ca today. For other solutions and resources designed to help companies and leaders rethink and evolve their approach to managing, be sure to check out evolvingmanagement.com. Lastly, please remember to subscribe and share to receive the latest episodes wherever you listen to your podcast. We look forward to connecting with you again soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.